Welcome to the Meditation Nest. Here, bedtime stories become gentle meditations, designed to help your thoughts unwind as you slow the tempo of your life and embrace the night ahead. I invite you to slow your breath, soften your thoughts, and find peace as you listen. This is your time to rest, reflect, and dream. Tonight's tale is called The Quiet Room. It follows a gentle journey through solitude, stillness, and the rediscovery of calm in a world that rarely stops speaking. Through the eyes of Adam, we're invited to explore the kind of silence that heals rather than isolates. The silence that becomes a sanctuary when we allow ourselves to breathe inside it. Climb into bed and get cozy. Let everything in you begin to loosen. There's nothing you need to hold, control, or prepare for. Only listen and let the quiet find you. And we begin. Adam's days always began the same way. A vibration on the nightstand, a bright screen cutting through dim morning light, and a cluster of messages asking for pieces of his attention before he had even taken his first breath of quiet. The apartment around him was small, held within the top corner of an old building whose pipes hummed through the walls. The city beyond his single window pulsed with the kind of energy that never learned how to rest. Even before sunrise, distant sirens wove through the air, blending with the rumble of delivery trucks and the muffled conversations of early commutes heading toward their glowing screens. Adam often lay still for a moment, listening to that layered noise, the digital, the mechanical, the hurried human voices rising from the street. It filled his little space in a way that seemed to press against his ribs. There was always one more alert, one more notification, one more reminder blinking faintly in the corner of his eye. Some part of him longed for the emptiness behind all that sound. He hesitated each time he reached for the Do Not Disturb setting. Silence had grown unfamiliar, the way a room feels when furniture has been moved while you slept. He didn't fear being alone exactly. He feared the open space where nothing demanded an answer. His nervous system felt stretched from constant vigilance, a steady hum under his skin. He carried it with him through every task, every message, every small obligation. Even moments intended to be restful carried a faint buzz. A soft glow from a muted screen, a phantom vibration, an urge to check something he couldn't name. He often wondered how much of the world's noise lived inside him now, carried forward long after the devices had been turned off. This morning, something changed. Adam reached for his phone as usual, touched the side of it, then paused. The screen remained dark. Outside his window, dawn had only just begun to gather, pale, gentle, without the sharp edges of full daylight. The glow touched the rim of his small table, then spread across the wall in a gradual sweep, leaving warm gold in its path. He sat up slowly, watching the light settle. It moved in a way that asked nothing of him. He breathed, and for a moment, the breath arrived as a small relief, rather than an automatic reflex. The apartment held pockets of quiet he rarely noticed. The hush around a bookshelf, the still air above the kettle, the soft fold of blankets near the edge of the bed. They were unremarkable features of this home, yet they felt new under this early morning light. Adam closed his eyes. For the first time in many mornings, he let the stillness reach him fully. There were no demands in that moment, no alerts, no voices, only a quiet room, holding space like open hands. His shoulders began to ease. The tension that usually rose immediately upon waking settled lower, leaving room for breath to expand. The quiet didn't feel empty. It felt like a beginning. A soft hum remained in the building's bones, but it simply existed, without urging him toward action. The city outside continued its early murmuring, yet he sensed a layer beneath it, a deeper calm that asked only to be noticed. Adam exhaled slowly, and the breath carried a weight he hadn't realized he had been holding. This tiny moment of unclaimed time felt like medicine. His body seemed to recognize it before his mind did. He stayed in place, letting the morning unfold with the same steady patience as the rising light. A spacious quiet filled the room, settling into corners that once held only noise. The stillness felt gentle, almost nurturing, as if it had waited for him to return. And in that quiet, Adam felt something he had missed for a long time. The first hint of peace rising from within. For a long moment, Adam remained seated at the edge of the bed, the early light pooling gently across his hands. The stillness held steady, as if the air itself had chosen to wait with him. Eventually he rose, moved with quiet steps toward the small table in the corner, and rested his fingertips on its smooth surface. The wood felt cool, grounded, unhurried, the kind of surface that absorbs noises rather than echoing them. His chest rose in a slow inhale, and he realized he could hear the breath as it moved through him, a soft, barely audible drift of air. It had been a while since he last sat in a room quiet enough to notice the sound of his own breathing. He took another breath, a longer one this time. The inhale opened a space behind his ribs. The exhale softened it. He reached for the kettle but didn't turn it on yet. The pause felt pleasant. Warm light touched the metal, and the dim reflection in its curved surface made the kitchen feel wider. He leaned into that sense of space, letting it expand through the room and settle around his shoulders. The silence didn't press. It welcomed. Adam walked toward the window and pulled the curtains open halfway. Morning light filled the apartment with muted brightness, gentle as a quiet tide. Rooftops stretched toward the horizon. A pair of birds crossed the sky in slow arcs. The city moved, yet the distance softened its urgency. From where he stood, he could sense the shift happening inside him with each quiet breath. The restless scanning of his mind slowed. Thoughts that usually arrived with sharp edges drifted forward like leaves floating on water. He observed them in the soft light, neither clinging nor turning away. They rose, paused, dissolved. His awareness slipped beneath them into something calmer. The hum of his nervous system still lingered, yet it felt gentler, less like static and more like a faint echo fading into the background. He placed one hand over his chest and felt the subtle warmth there, the steady rhythm that continued without instruction. His heartbeat had always been present. He had simply forgotten how to listen for it. He sat again, this time in the quietest corner of the room, a place where morning shadows gathered in a restful pool. The cushion beneath him held the faint memory of previous evenings spent reading, resting, or simply breathing. This corner felt like a companion, steady, patient, and unchanged. Adam let his gaze soften. The room blurred slightly, and the edges of everything seemed to round. Colors deepened. The space grew quieter in a way that allowed his mind to release one more layer of tension. He could almost feel the amygdala, that small sentinel in the brain, begin to loosen its vigilance. His body understood the shift before his thoughts did. Muscles in his neck relaxed. The line between his eyebrows eased. Breath moved slower, closer to his belly. The quiet didn't erase anything. It rearranged everything. He no longer felt pulled toward the outside world. He felt pulled inward, toward a center that had been waiting for his attention. There, beneath the noise he had carried for so long, lived something unforced, a faint, rhythmic presence he had once known as a child. The gentle awareness that arises when no one is asking anything of you. Adam allowed the room to hold him. He allowed the stillness to move through him. A calm he didn't have to earn began to take shape inside his chest. The mind rarely quiets all at once. It quiets in waves. Each breath eased one more ripple on the surface. He closed his eyes again. Darkness behind his eyelids felt warm, like a blanket draped softly over thought. In that warmth, a small realization surfaced. Silence carried its own companionship. It offered him a place to land, a place to rest. One more breath, slow and steady, filled the room. And in that breath, Adam felt his mind quietly begin to bloom. A little later, a hush drifted across the apartment, the kind that arrives once the day has truly begun outside, but lingers gently indoors. Adam remained seated in the quiet corner. His breathing had softened, and the weight in his chest felt lighter than it had in months. As he settled further into stillness, something new stirred. A faint ache beneath the calm, an echo of loneliness perhaps. A feeling that rose in the space where noise once lived. He didn't move away from it. He allowed it to rise, allowed it to take its shape. It felt like a soft pressure behind his ribs, warm and familiar. Something human, something honest. For years he had mistaken that feeling for a signal that something was missing, as if a quiet room meant he'd been left behind, as if solitude carried a verdict. Today, the ache felt different, less like longing, more like a whisper of recognition, a gentle reminder that he was alive and feeling, held within the arms of his own awareness. He placed a hand over his heart again, letting the warmth beneath his palm speak. The lonely feeling didn't deepen, it eased. It unfolded in the way a drop of ink spreads through clear water, slow, natural, without force. Adam let that ache breathe. He sensed it wasn't hunger for someone else's presence. It was hunger for his own. A quiet request from an inner voice asking to be met, listened to, cared for. He inhaled again and felt something soften inside that sensation, the way air softens the flame of a candle. His thoughts drifted gently. Loneliness had always pointed him outward, urging him to reach for distraction or noise. In this moment, the feeling angled inward, guiding him toward a truth he had never paused long enough to hear. He had been missing himself. The room around him felt fuller now. The silence carried warmth. The walls no longer held emptiness. They held a kind of companionship, like a soft conversation between breath and stillness. Adam leaned back slightly, head resting against the wall behind him. The surface felt firm and steady, a reminder that even when the mind wavers, the body can offer anchoring. He listened again to the faint hum of the building, the feather-light sound of his own breath, the silence between pulses of air. The ache shifted once more. It became gentler, quieter, a subtle thread woven into the calm rather than a break in it. From this view, loneliness felt less like absence and more like an invitation, a door opening toward self-connection rather than outward escape. He took another slow breath. With each inhale, he felt more present. With each exhale, he felt more accompanied. The room seemed to lean in around him, as if acknowledging his arrival. He whispered something under his breath, a simple phrase he had never spoken aloud. "I'm here." The words landed with surprising tenderness. The moment felt whole. Room, breath, awareness, everything in gentle conversation. Adam remained there, held by the quiet he once tried to avoid. It no longer felt hollow. It felt rooted, alive. The ache dissolved, leaving only the warmth of being with himself, fully and peacefully. And in that deep stillness, Adam realized something he had been moving toward all morning. Solitude can be sanctuary, a place where the nervous system drinks in calm, a place where the heart remembers its own voice, a place where he could finally rest. The quiet continued to bloom around him. The ache he had carried softened, and a warmer presence rose in its place. a sense of meeting himself again after a long time apart. He remained seated for several breaths, eyes half closed, body steady. The room felt changed, though nothing material had shifted. It was as if the silence had learned his shape, and he had learned to feel at home within it. A gentle curiosity stirred in him. He stood, moved through the room with slow, thoughtful steps, and gathered a few small objects that brought comfort. A soft blanket from the arm of the chair, a candle resting on the shelf, the tiny ceramic bowl he had bought years ago from a quiet street vendor on a rainy afternoon. Each item carried a memory he had never paused long enough to honor. Now they felt like friends, anchors, little invitations to breathe more deeply. He placed the candle on the table and lit it. The flame rose in a steady glow, bright at first, then gentle, like a sigh released into the air. Light pooled across the wood, creating a warm center in the room, a point of stillness made visible. Adam draped the blanket across the chair and lowered himself into it. The fabric met him with soft weight, and the cushion beneath welcomed every shift of his body. He rested his palms on his knees, letting them settle. In this posture, he felt grounded, as though the floor beneath him offered quiet support he'd never noticed. His breath deepened without effort. A slow inhale, a tender exhale. The rhythm began to echo through the space around him. This became a ritual of stillness, breath guiding presence, presence guiding ease. The quiet no longer felt like a void. It felt complete, full of texture and subtle messages. The flickering candle, the breeze from the window, the faint hum in the walls, the pulse beneath his own skin. He realized then that solitude held a richness he had overlooked. It wasn't emptiness. It was clarity, a gentle clearing in the mind where everything could settle in its rightful place. He whispered into the quiet, "Thank you," a simple acknowledgement of the peace he had found. The room answered in its own way, by remaining still, by holding space, by offering breath where none had been before. After some time, Adam rose and moved toward the window again. The city beyond remained in motion, cars threading through side streets, voices rising and falling in distant conversations, pigeons sweeping across rooftops in loose arcs. The noise felt different now, muted by the sanctuary he had created within. he didn't feel compelled to join it immediately. He didn't feel pushed or pulled. The world could wait. He was in no hurry. He sensed something new in himself, a steadiness he had not carried earlier, a readiness that came from rest rather than urgency. Solitude had gathered him, tended him, returned him to himself. When he finally stepped outside later that morning, the day met him gently. The air felt clearer. His movements felt softer. The world seemed wide again, and he moved through it without reaching for noise or distraction. He greeted a neighbor with warmth. He paused to admire a patch of sunlight across the pavement. He walked with a quiet internal rhythm that felt balanced and whole. The empty spaces inside him were filled now, not with activity, but with presence. He no longer feared being alone. He carried himself differently, as though he had found a room within that could never be taken from him. Solitude had become a sanctuary he could return to at any time, a resting place for the nervous system, a home for his breath, a companion deeper than sound. And as Adam continued down the street, he understood something profound in the simplest way. He was never truly alone when he carried this quiet with him. The quiet was him, steady, patient, endlessly peaceful. The end. Take a gentle breath. Feel the weight of your body resting exactly where it is, supported without effort. You've just walked with Adam through the gentle landscape of solitude, the kind that welcomes you, steadies you, and gathers your scattered thoughts back into one peaceful center. This quiet belongs to you as well. It lives beneath the noise of every day, waiting for the moment you choose to return to yourself. Within stillness, your nervous system remembers its natural rhythm. Within silence, your inner voice becomes clearer, kinder, and full of ease. Let the calm you found tonight settle deeper with each breath. Let the room around you hold you the way Adam's quiet room held him. And allow this peaceful presence to carry you into rest. Good night. As this episode comes to a gentle close and the world outside grows quiet, may you find comfort within your own meditation nest. Let your mind settle softly. May tranquility wrap around you, inviting deep rest and serene dreams until dawn. If you'd like to help keep the meditation nest aglow, please consider buying me a cup of coffee by visiting ko-fi.com/BethPodcast. Every small kindness helps the light travel a little further. You can also access a free weekly blog on substack.com. Check the show notes for links. Until we meet again, rest in the quiet knowing that you are safely held by the night.